Some guys just, I want $10 million for it. Has nothing to do with if it makes any money, doesn't make any money, EBITDA, interest rates, they just want some figure. And normally that figure is amount of money they need for another investment or the amount of money they think they need to retire. That's why it's important. 95% of the business up for sale, Mr. Seller, don't sell. Well, really? Why is that? Because they're asking for too much fucking money, you fucking retard, deadbeat. No, don't do that, but that's the reason. Everybody tries to get rich off one transaction. Wealth is built off a series of transactions. Cash flow ratio, yeah.
So seller financing couldn't handle it?
No, seller financing, even on top of that, seller financing, if he had done 75% seller finance, but he didn't, the seller only wanted to do 25% seller finance.
But SBA would still require him.
SBA still wants 5% somebody. If it had been 99% seller finance, SBA wants somebody, well, they wouldn't be a deal, that's a bad example. If it had been 50% seller finance, SBA still wants somebody to put it 5%. Now, if he had crystal clean credit and had any kind of assets, he has neither. He's the subject of divorces and alimony payments and God knows what else. A drunken sailor, basically.
Regular squid.
Yeah, a regular squid. Yeah, I don't know about the girl in every port, but a regular squid. Yeah.
The LOI states to the seller 3 to 5 times EBITDA.
Correct.
But the seller doesn't even know what his numbers are. So
that's why in the templates, you don't want to, when the broker says he wants this much or that much, your LOI doesn't, you want a wiggle room in the LOI. That's why it's 3 to 5 times EBITDA. Certain industries, it's only 2 to 4 times EBITDA. But in healthcare, assisted living, generally speaking, it's 3 to 5 times EBITDA. So and as I told you, they lock it on the 5, and you want to pay the 2. I mean, his is going to wind up being 4.1 times EBITDA, which is within the 2 to 5.
Do you have to disclose the real EBITDA number to the seller?
Sure you do. He's the one that's giving you the numbers. He's disclosing them to you. You're not disclosing them to him. I mean, it's his company, so he gets the numbers. That quality of earnings thing, those are the numbers for his company. He's going to see that. He's going to see, and in some cases, because they've never looked at their earnings like that, they don't realize there's a real analysis. And when they see all those questions, I mean, and sometimes that brings them back to reality. Some guys just, I want $10 million for it. Has nothing to do with if it makes any money, doesn't make any money, EBITDA, interest rates, they just want some figure. And normally that figure is amount of money they need for another investment or the amount of money they think they need to retire. That's why it's important. 95% of the business up for sale, Mr. Seller, don't sell. Well, really? Why is that? Because they're asking for too much fucking money, you fucking retard, deadbeat. No, don't do that, but that's the reason. Everybody tries to get rich off one transaction. Wealth is built off a series of transactions. Even the guys that do it half-assed and don't do the QLA, follow the model, but they do. Let's say a 30-year-old does 10 deals in his lifetime, even half-assed wrong. He's going to build up more net worth than one guy holding out for one deal because the law of numbers are working for you. Because in 1 of 10 deals, you're going to find somebody, the average of the motivated sellers is going to be much greater in your favor, much greater in your favor. In 2008-9, I would have let all the banks go down. I would have stopped giving seminars and I would have been fucking running around picking up companies left, right, and center because there's a lot of motivated sellers there. You'll see why guys like Google, Facebook, Warren Buffett, and Dan Peña have all that cash for. When the end of the world comes, when the apocalypse comes, when you're looking into the fucking abyss.
So Josh Kim also mentioned using SBA loans.
Correct.
Where is he getting his 5 to 10%?
Well, now he's got equity in his deals.
So what his first deal was?
There was. First deal, the guy gave him a sack of cash, if I remember this. He said he came with a suitcase of cash because somebody had fucked up the numbers. By the way, banks make mistakes on numbers all the time. And normally you don't figure it out until you're at the fucking close. And he came up, if I remember, $40,000 short. Somebody, whatever had happened, the seller gave him a mercy fuck 40 grand in a suitcase and pay me back when you can. Because one, the seller was motivated, he wanted out of the piece of shit. See, just like he didn't believe delayed fees, you don't believe that there's sellers that will pay you to take their assets off them. You don't believe that. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. I've had Dutchmen even. Yes, Dutchmen. Don't tell too many though. Dutchmen I mean, and the better you get at this, about the 95% don't sell, you're not going to get rich off one transaction in a very nice way. Well, you should have thought about that over the last 10, 20, 30 years. There's no way that this business is worth this much. But if you want to work with me, 100% seller finance, you want $3 million for the business, I'll give you $5 million for the business. 100% owner finance, no interest for the first 3 years, pushed out. One of the great things I learned from the Greeks, the Onassis people, is you name the price, I name the terms. This is magic. You name the price, I name the terms. Now, the Greeks tell me that they stole it from the Chinese. I don't care where it fucking came from. But you name the price, I name the terms. You want $100 million, I'll pay you over the next 5,000 years. That's an exaggeration, okay? You name the price, I name the terms. I mean, it's magic. Banks understand it instantly. Well, how did you get this seller to 15-year? That doesn't matter, as long as you're not holding a gun to their head or shit like that. I've even seen that over the years. You know, we're making them an offer they can't refuse, like in The Godfather, but it's because it's so lucrative, it's so one way in their mind, in favor of their interests, when really not, it's not. It's really in favor of our interest. But people associate, or I should say, sellers associate too much value on the sale price. They do not associate value on the terms. Yes, sir.
If you're using mailers as part of the funnel, should you be upfront about only seller financing with these?
No, you want to get them, you want to suck them in first, then you tell them, you want to suck them in first. His law firm represents the President of the United States. It's a big-time law firm, big accountants, and the delayed fees, the rolled fees, they do it, and they're clocking up a bunch of fees on this deal right now. But under the financing that he's structured, he'll be able to go back and pay for the first delay fees. Yeah.
So was it his accounting firm or the law firm that said that they knew you?
The accounting firm. But the law firm also knows me. They also know me. In fact, one of the senior partners says, Dan says what we only dare to think. You know, I don't say anything that you don't think. It's like when they were accusing the poor President Trump, and I'm not saying he's innocent, wanting to grab pussy and suck on that tit. There's not a red-blooded American male any place that didn't want to grab that pussy and suck on that big tit. Who's bullshitting who, right? But everybody, you know. But he got caught on fucking the mic. You know, Jesus Christ. Poor, you know, fuck. No, a big exaggeration. Out to sea, 9 months. I can just imagine the conversations from the sailors, you know, what they do when they get unsure what they're going to do to the first female they get a hold of. Or as they say, get a hold of. Or how many sailors are going to get a hold of the same female or whatever. So the accounting firm knows me well. The law firm knows me as well.
What was the law firm?
The law firm? I don't want to say it on camera. I'll tell you afterwards. Again, there are lawyers, not firms, lawyers that I've fucked over, not fucked over illegally or anything, that I took advantage of, beat them up, you know. And remember they said, the accountant said some of the guys that we work with push too hard. Well, the one that pushes too hard is me, not the you. That's what he was referring to.
Tell them we're mentees?
No, you shouldn't say anything. Especially you. Especially you. You know? But it's good because he's right out there. And the reason why I was asking about the board meeting, because I'm his chairman, full disclosure. And some of the times you guys contact Kat with a board meeting, there's no fucking way that I can make it. I publish my schedule, 100% full disclosure. And you'll schedule a board meeting right in the middle of a seminar. I can't even be on a Skype or Zoom. What are you, brain dead? Well, yes, you are brain dead. That's why, you know. And so that's why I was asking him to make sure that if at all possible, I'll be able to join it by Skype or Zoom easily. If at all possible, Sally and I will fly to Washington, D.C., or preferably Washington, D.C. We like Washington, D.C. Or Boston. Boston's a great town too, though. We went to the name of that TV series about a bar in Boston. Cheers. I'd been to the Cheers bar, but Sally had never been to the Cheers bar, so we went to the Cheers bar. Of course, it doesn't look like the fucking program, the bar on the TV series. All kinds of mooch, retard tourists with fucking cameras around their neck and fucking funny hats, and Jesus Christ. Sally was less than impressed with all these people, the tourists. Sally likes to go, when we went to Egypt last time, it was right after the riot, when they were killing people in the streets 7 or 8 years ago, and there was nobody in Egypt, okay? So when you went to the Valley of the Kings, 20 people, 25 people. Normally when you go to the Valley of the Kings, there's 5,000 people. So, oh, this is very pleasant. I like Egypt like this, you know? We were the only people staying at the Four Seasons, only customers in the Four Seasons. We had a big suite, but they upgraded us to the presidential suite because there's nobody else in the fucking hotel. So, well, aren't they nice to us? I said, Sally, we're the only customers. We're going to the dining room, there's nobody there. I mean, the butlers are falling over us. They're trying to justify their jobs. What does it sound like to you when you hear Tom there in the trenches?
feels a bit like he was losing momentum.
He's not really losing momentum, but it's hurry up and wait is the process. Hurry up and wait. And right now he's waiting for the final due diligence to come out. And 99.9 times out of 100, the fact that they gave him a flash report 2 days ago and they said everything was fine, 99.9 times when the report comes out tomorrow, it'll be fine. But 1/10 of the time, they find something that makes it unfine. And that's why, I mean, he's on pins and needles. And just as with the equity injection and to the extent that the Navy guy that he's dealing with seems legit, seems, above board, can't find anything like he did anything wrong, but he could get hit by a car. And I've told you, I've had him die while signing their name. I've had him die walking up the steps to the lawyers to close the deal. I've had their planes go down. So until the fucking money's in my bank account, I don't believe anybody. I mean, Murphy's Law, what can go wrong does go wrong. And the time it goes wrong, guys, is when you're 5 minutes away from them repossessing your house or your mother's house because she signed for you. And then it goes wrong. And when it happens to you, it's 100%. It's like the lightning 5 times hitting somebody. Anything else about Tom? And this is a pretty typical deal. And the deal that we're going to show you, the actual deal, is not as big as the deal that he's doing. But $4 million deal, $4.1 million deal, is pretty good size for the first deal. And it's fairly credible that the first deal cratered and he's going to have to pay the fees on 2 deals. But this deal that he's got plenty of money to do that. Well, the problem becomes when you close the second deal, it's not enough money to pay the fees on the first deal. So then what do? Well, you pay the fee because it's the same accountants and lawyers. So it's the same people that you owe from the first deal and the second deal. So you pay off the fees for the first deal, you pay as much as you can on the second deal, and then you don't take any money yourselves. And because you all, not all, but most of you need the money like last month, not yesterday, but like last month, that's a tough choice to make. But then you might tell the accountants and the lawyers, hey, I'm going to pay 100% of your fees. How about I only pay you 20 or 30% of these fees because, I need some money for myself. They'll understand that. They'll also see you just did a deal. And so, and he's got 2 or 3 more deals on the boil. So most of the firms will work with you. Delayed fees, as Tom said, isn't the problem. And when you go to accountants, the normal bullshit, when they don't like you, your team, whatever, they're racist or whatever the reason, they'll say, we don't do delayed fees. Or they'll say, we need firm approval. Both bullshits. And your counter is, well, you do business with private equity firms, correct? Well, then you obviously do delayed fees. And then that shuts them up. But normally when you come in and your face is all turned red because you're nervous and your hands are sweating and all of a sudden they don't want to do delayed fees. Yes, sir.
So in this case, he's got extra cash flow.
Correct.
Is there anything prohibiting him from striking a deal with the accountants on, hey, we'll pay that one out?
No, there's not. Once the deal closes, of course, I'm his chairman, full disclosure, I'm going to tell him we're going to pay the first deal off. So everybody's got a good taste in their mouth. And then we can wiggle a little on how much of the money. But he's got plenty of cash flow. You're right. Absolutely. I mean, a 2.75 cash flow to debt service is terrific. Although some of the deals are done at 1.25, but that's thin. You notice it was $500,000 for working capital, which I think is a bit rich. But if everybody agrees, who am I to say, I'm just a lowly chairman. But that's borders on the high side. It's probably on that size deal, they should have working capital of a couple hundred, not 500. See, the thing's shitting money. And everybody gets more loosey-goosey. When the thing shits money, okay, you take 500. And even taking 500 is still going to have $750,000 excessive cash flow in the year. Fuck, everybody's, well, let's take a plane trip to the Super Bowl, some other bullshit. And he didn't mention it, but they'll have a overdraft as well. And the overdraft will be roughly 10% of the turnover. So everything moves forward. I mean, it's a great first deal. And if you can marry the financing source, not dissimilar, not as good, but not dissimilar to the Hungarian. And when you find a financing source, whether it's a bank or a private investor or whatever, that likes, for whatever reason, likes you, the team, your deals, you stay with them. Okay, YouTube.